How we doing today? It's Dia. I'm back, and today I want to just talk about how fear, doubt, and really all of that has really plagued my entire life, and still today I struggle with it a lot, especially when it comes to making big decisions or even small decisions. So if you can relate or you just want to hear the yap, then just sit back and relax, and I'll bring that to you guys. Now, before we even get started, I just want to say real quick we are about to hit 1,000 subs, so if you are watching this, just hit the subscribe, bro. Just be a part of the family, bro. We're growing. I want to hear from y'all. So yeah, just get into it, y'all. I'm not gonna take up too much time. So what do I mean? Doubt, fear, all of this is something we all have to deal with on a daily occurrence, no? Well, I feel like for me, it's almost like my main emotions. What do I mean by that? I guess I'm gonna have to explain to you guys a bit about my upbringing so far. Alright, so what do I mean? Now, you see, little Dia grew up in an immigrant housing, with two parents who worked their butts off to get over here, who had to go through a lot of things back at their country. And, it's not like everything went the way it was supposed to be. There were a lot of challenges, a lot of mistakes, and a lot of differences that happened. So when I was brought into this world, I was the youngest of three, and right off the bat, growing up with two sisters, and if y'all have sisters, even older siblings, you can tell how scary they get sometimes, y'all. But that wasn't even about that. I guess my parents' philosophy when they were trying to raise us was to, I don't know, just try to make us as least problematic. Cut that out. I tell you single part out. But they were trying to make us just less problematic. Raise us to not really speak up too much. Don't really be annoying. Basically just like don't really do like a lot. And we were. Well, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but I was a pretty sick kid, so I didn't even go out much. I grew up with a lot of allergies. Couldn't really go outside because the tree would irritate my skin, the grass would irritate my skin. I'd be sneezing like crazy for the pollen. It wasn't fun. Like I wanted to do a lot of things. I remember wanted to go on the trampoline all the time. I wanted to go play with the kids in the park, not in the park, but in the neighborhood. But every time I would be like, no, you can't, because you're gonna get sick, or you're gonna get hurt. And while I understand now, looking back, I can tell that they were definitely overreacting, but it made sense, There's always two ways to do something, either too much or too little, and it's very easy to drift in one side. It's very easy to not be balanced. It's hard not to be balanced. So yeah, I grew up just like that. Middle school, elementary school, I was pretty quiet. I stuck to myself. I would talk to people at my table, but it was more like they were talking to me, and I would just not respond. I was just responded. And I made a couple friends, but I always remember for so long, like, just constantly being like, I don't know, just overanalyzing situations, being like, oh, like if somebody would be like, hey man, do you wanna go play a funny prank on somebody, or like something like that, something harmless, I'll be sitting there and I'll freak out because I'd be like, oh no, like if I do that, then when we get caught, then my parents are gonna find out, and if my parents find out, they're gonna whoop me, and if I get whooped, I'm gonna hate it, I'm gonna cry, it's just like, it'll be a spiral. And then so, yeah, growing up, it was hard not to be scared, because my parents were scared for good reason, and they passed that on to me and my siblings. It had its goods, its bads, but it was pretty ugly most of the time, I ain't gonna lie. Like, sure, it brought me up as like a good kid, as a kid who, respected people, who had his boundary, not his boundary, but understood boundaries, understood, a lot of things, understood just like social settings in a way, but didn't really have the experience to really do well, to do something about it. But I just kept going. Didn't really do much. I'm telling you guys, like growing up, bro, like I'd go to school, I'd do my homework, I'd do my schoolwork, I'd talk to maybe a couple people, and I'd just go home and get on my console. It's really the same thing I've been doing for like most of my life. And like I found comfort being back at home. I found comfort, just being in my room for a long time because I don't know, I didn't want to leave it. I was scared of the outside world. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was scared. I didn't understand it, or at least every time I thought I understood it, it changed, or something changed, and it was just hard to get a grasp on. So yeah, the years would go by, and I was growing up, and eventually, start getting in middle school, you start developing some crushes. You have a homie who if you're watching, I love you still. But, if you have a homie who exposed you in front of the huzz, that's gonna demoralize you for a long time, You ever have a girl walk up to you and be like, hey, I heard you liked me. I heard you liked me, and, what do you say about that? And then you say like, oh, I used to like you. Like, bro, is that game? Is that Riz? Now shout out old me. Shout out old Dia. He had the Riz back then. But yeah, no. It was hard, man. Like I didn't know how to talk to anybody, like, at all. I didn't really. And maybe that was because when I was a kid, I just didn't go out much. I didn't know how to socialize, or maybe it was just like my internal fear just like dragging me back and like being like, hey, gotta be careful, you can't embarrass yourself, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so I was walking this like super tight rope, and it would suck, honestly. It would suck a lot. Like, it would suck having to act, because I never really got to act like me growing up. Like I feel like I never really got to act like a kid. I felt like I was forced to mature, but not in like a hardened way, but in like in an emotionally intelligent way. So like, while other people, like, if they grow up in a rough area, like they'll mature, especially when they're younger, but they'll develop like cold. They'll be hard, they'll be almost a bit ruthless, because that's how the environment they were raised in. But for me, it was like I had to mature, like, emotionally, my mind. I had to be aware of things I wasn't aware of. I had to know how to navigate a situation, complex situations, traumatic situations as a child, whenever, I'm not supposed to, I'm supposed to be, the shoulder to cry on, even though I don't really know, like, what I'm doing. I don't have a shoulder to cry on. So, it's just like, I just felt like a tool most of my life, or I just felt like an empty shell. And I don't know if you guys can relate with this, but it was like, it just got to a point, man, where I was just like, my life was like going past me, and I wasn't doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, I guess, like, I've gone into topics about dissociating, about how like it feels like I'm watching my life to a movie. But then, like, it would literally feel like days would fly by, and it was like I would barely even notice. Like, it'd just be like the same cycle. It'd be like Groundhog Day, just the same day repeating over and over again. And yeah, I guess, like, as I explain it like this, it kind of makes sense why I fell down like a deep rabbit hole, especially when I got to high school. I remember when I got to high school, my 9th grade, I used to go to a charter school. I just cared too much about like character values and wearing a shirt and tie, just random stuff like that. But all my friends went to this charter school, man. I gotta say, like, I gotta say, this school like really helped me because, you know, it brought me my lifelong, you know, friends, my lifelong, you know, people I care about, and people who I will definitely be seeing for the rest of my life. So, you know, they really like pushed me. They really changed me. You know, I remember it was just like a nervous wreck whenever we first started talking, all of them, and they hardened me a bit. You know, they made me realize that I could take jokes, and I could. That's what you need the friends for. That's what you need them for. That's what you need other people for. It's hard to motivate yourself sometimes, man. Especially whenever like things go the way you don't want them to go, and it's like those feelings come back up again. And I don't know, man. I just hate. I hate how I react sometimes. I hate how I just shut down whenever I get confronted too much. You know, confrontation just. I don't like it. I don't like when I do something wrong and someone has to tell me something, because I feel like I should be doing way better. But I mean, it's just like feelings of shame and guilt, and then those feelings of I'm not enough start rising up again. It's hard to deal with, especially whenever you want to do things and you want to do stuff and you're doing them, and then you know you get a little interruption, and then everything just seems to like change. You know, it's like the momentum shifts, and I lose that hope, and I lose that motivation. It's just something I struggle with a lot, you know. I struggle a lot with like motivation in the moment, especially whenever it just gets derailed just randomly. But yeah, that's just fear. Fear will always be there no matter what. I want to hear y'all's story, you know? What's y'all's story with fear? And you guys still struggling with it? How are you guys dealing with it? So let me know down below. But anyways, y'all, it's going to be a little short video for today. It's Dia. I'm hoping y'all just having a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever y'all doing. But yeah, I love you guys. So please take care, man. Alright. Peace.